finally come in to fruition. In 2014, there came a situation where it was time to move again. I said, well, it's time to move. It's time to put on a change of face, take on a change of image. Not really turning over a new leaf, but picking all the leaves up and throwing them in the fire. Let them burn. Let them spark through the sky. Let them be, baby. This is not my beautiful Pabst. This is not my beautiful car. This is not my beautiful home. This is not my beautiful life. But it is. I love you, baby.
I love you too.
Screw that up. Gotcha. And so I decided I was going to shave my head and shave my face at the same time and let it go for 6 months. 6 months. I want to be as ugly as possible. Let it grow back at the same time. Try to look like a Fraggle. I have always wanted to try that out, so I did it. Let it go, like a Fraggle, like a Muppet of some sort. Just to look as ugly as possible. For 6 months, I put the day on it. Because I thought I needed that 6 months to myself. Nobody would want to be with me in those 6 months. Wouldn't be easy. This was to be a time to myself. And so 6 months that hair grew. 6 months the beard grew. And there it was, I was just, but it didn't look Fraggle enough. It was supposed to stand straight up with my beard coming straight out. My beard took a look, and my hair did too. They grew at different paces. In 6 months, I took a vacation. I drove down to see D-Day in Dayton and Bebout in Richmond, outside of Steubenville. And then I cruised up through a blizzard. I was on my motorcycle to Gaylord, and in that Gaylord time, it was like, here's the 6 months to the day. And so I shaved my beard, and my dad yelled and yelled. He says, don't shave that, I like it. I'm like, you're not the one fucking cruising around with this thing. My 6 months was up. I was able to take a new look at myself. I shaved the beard down and I put it in a bag, and I was going to Eastwood weekend. And so I showed up to Eastwood weekend looking like this. But before I got to Eastwood weekend, I stopped in Frederick, at the Frederick Inn. I was on my motorcycle. I had a beer. I had my stuff in my bags. I had a pool table. It was the afternoon, and I looked over and I saw this woman sitting at a table all by herself. And I'm looking, and she was beautiful. And I said, ah. And then these two old women showed up, and they sat down with her. And she was sitting at the table with these two old women. Must have been relatives, in-laws, something. I don't know what they were. Those three people shouldn't have been together, except maybe, sometimes you can see, I can see, I don't know how often you can, but the beauty of a woman, no matter what her age. Sometimes I see them and I have to shake my head, because even though I'm seeing them for what they are, I see them for how beautiful they were in their time of perfection, just as we all are. We have our perfect times. Some last longer than others, but we have them. What do you call perfect time? I call it the time when you're as good as it gets. That's the time when you get to look at yourself and say, am I who they think I am? Or am I who I want to be? So I stopped into the Frederick Inn, and this woman got up, and I was like, she is beautiful. I had a clean shave, man. My hair was from the wind. Like, And I'm sitting at the pool table, and she gets up and starts walking through. And on the way by, she's going to the ladies' room, which is near the pool table. And I stopped what I was doing because I was all alone. If you can't interrupt a conversation with yourself to talk to another person, then maybe you're having a problem with yourself more than you are other people. And I said, you are beautiful, as she was walking by. And she stopped, she said, and she raised her hand, and she said, I'm married. She said, I'm sorry. And she showed her ring, and she said, I'm married. And I believed her when she said she was sorry. And I looked at her and I said, that's okay. And she went into the restroom, and I kept playing my pool and drinking that one bottle of beer before going out to Eastwood weekend. And she came out of the bathroom, and she stopped, and she was all shy. And she said, has anybody ever told you you look like a young Clint Eastwood? And I looked at her and I said, you must really be attracted to Clint Eastwood. And she said, oh. And she went and sat with the old women. All I can gather is that she was with those old women that were part of her husband's side of the family, and her husband was in a coma somewhere, and she was just going, I gotta get some. You see, this is what we learn from saying things to people that relate them to people we're attracted to. We're trying to find a way to make the fantasy real. I've been told when I have long hair, you look like Brad Pitt. And after enough times hearing things like this, you look like Woody Harrelson. If they say it with a smile, that means they really like Woody Harrelson. You look like Nick Nolte. Well, if you're a gay man, you really might want a thing with Nick Nolte. Sorry, Scott. I'm not him. But what I learned was that if somebody says that you look like somebody that's like right there on the, what do you call it, sexiest man alive catalog picture on the news, that means they're trying to make it okay to be with you. They can always imagine they're with that person. And look at my hair. saw that thing with Letterman. I should dye it gray. It was at the time that Eastwood was there with Gran Torino, that movie. He was there for that movie at the time. That was what was going on. Although who wouldn't have him on any time they could get him, but people like that, they're not going to share themselves too much. All it does is give something to eat you up with. Look at that. I got the little personality. It made me realize back then, as I was throwing half of my beard in the fire, I kept the whiskers in a bag and the other half in the river. Let this all go. Made me realize Clint Eastwood's got a hairstyle that not many people can reenact, and it's a good hairstyle. One day, I'm gonna have a Clint Eastwood haircut.